It's been 10 years since Toyota launched the Lexus LS430, a car which shook the European luxury car makers to their socks. After all, Toyota was a mass-market car maker, and, the argument went, mass manufacturers just can't give a luxury model the degree of individual attention those buyers demand. Wrong. In fact, the LS430 was quieter, it was smoother, it was better air-conditioned, it was better riding, and it was faster than all its rivals. The only thing it lacked was heritage and charisma, and that was something that all the money and engineering know-how that Toyota threw at the Lexus project just couldn't provide. Well, now there's a new Lexus, the LS430, and after 10 years of awesome success in the luxury field, well, perhaps Lexus has established its own charisma and heritage. Not that they've changed the appearance of the car that much. Lexus always had a bland, anonymous-looking front end, and that's carried over onto the new model. Lexus's engineers were obsessed with cutting CD values and wind noise, and that's resulted in the lowest CD value in the market segment. The new headlamps are rather in your face, you could say, even ugly. But the appeal of the big Lexus to its discerning buyers was never on face value. They knew what lay under the skin. But it's inside the Lexus that the almost fanatical attention to detail and engineering excellence really shows. In things like the leather trim, the perfect Californian wood, the brushed aluminium, and this wonderful instrument panel that lights up from virtual reality and which created such a stir with the first LS430. The list of extras just goes on and on and on. There's a door closer system, no more slam doors that fold in. Yes, the front seats switchable between sport and high. There's electric memory passenger controls for the vibra navigator system fitted as standard. A CD auto changer, electrically multi-adjustable fronts in the front, electric rear window blinds, rear view mirrors dip for reverse for the driver to adjust the front passenger dashboard. The steering column electrically adjusts. And it's fitted with the most sophisticated hi-fi system you've ever seen, designed by Mark Levinson, well-known Californian manufacturer of incredibly expensive hi-fi systems. Now, in the past, he would never put a system in a car because he always said, well, the ambient noise is so high in a car, you can't tell the difference between excellent hi-fi and truly great hi-fi. But in the Lexus, he thought it was calm enough and quiet enough in the cabin for you to really appreciate one of his systems. Let's see if he's right. Well, after a few miles, you have to say he was right. It really is uncannily quiet in here. You can't hear the engine. There's very little noise coming back from road surface or bumps and thumps. You really do rather want the radio or the CD on to block out the eerie silence. Now 4.3 litres, the V8 churns out over 280 horsepower and a stonking 417 torque figure. Push your foot down and a computer that the press release describes as a brain the size of a small planet surges the car away with seamless gear changes until you suddenly notice you're doing instant disqualification speeds without even knowing how you got there. And if you were unlucky enough to hit anything, well, a plethora of airbags explode from literally every corner of the car to make sure that you and your precious occupants remain unhurt. It doesn't roll or pitch. The increased wheelbase give it even more stability over the old model. The steering is absolutely pin sharp. You can place this car to an inch, and the traction with the big fat tyres is really extremely good. You can't get over the fact that it's a big heavy limousine, but even so, you can hustle it along at really surprising speeds on these country lanes. You have to say this LS430 really is a truly great car, and it's a notable step forward from the old LS400. It's still relatively bland and innocuous, but that's what people who buy these big Lexuses like. They don't want to advertise their wealth with a three-pointed star, a flying lady, or even a leaping cat on the bonnet. They're people who value their creature comforts for what they are and not for what they represent to other people. Sounds a silly thing to say, but at £50,000 or thereabouts, this Lexus is great value, especially when you compare it to the price of what used to be called the best car in the world.